First of all, I haven't had a chance to address all of you as a group, so I'm going to give you a little history about myself. I was a full-time firefighter for the City of Norton Shores for 16 plus years. I retired as an RTO, which is a recruit training officer, which I did a lot of the trainings, medical side, to different fire, different extrication. But mainly our goal as a fire department, 70% of the calls become medicals. All right, about 10% become rescues, 20% are really fires. So first responders get pretty proficient on medicals, any variation of strokes to heart attacks, to arterial bleeds, to, I mean, anything, you know, broken legs, everything. So that's kind of my background. I retired in November of last year, November 27th. I had 6 surgeries on my hands. I was starting to drop stuff. Couldn't get back, they wouldn't allow me back, so I had to retire. So it's one of those things where I was grumpy for a while, thought maybe I'd become a trophy husband. That didn't work out. That's what brought me here. I spoke with Mr. Beckman and Mr. Edwards, and well, not only not a trophy husband, but I thought maybe a little eye candy that's still not. So glad my wife isn't here right now. So that's what brought me here. So what I want to do today is I went back and forth and saying, do I just want to do I have a PowerPoint that I went through. Most of my stuff we call firefighter proof. You highly intelligent people are going to get it before it's firefighter proof. So this will be good. So I went back and forth, and I don't want to do an AED PowerPoint because I want to be realistic. When you guys, I'm assuming we're all in college and you did your student teaching, you did everything the way you're supposed to do, right? I mean, because obviously that's what you want to do to get a job and so forth. When you become a teacher, you become a seasoned teacher, you kind of start changing that, you make it your own. Well, that's the same way kind of with firefighting, because when you're in Firefighter 1, the academy, obviously you want to do everything to pass. Then you become EMT school and everything like that. You do everything. And then you go to your job and you get your street skills on how you do things. So realistically, what I want to do is I want to present to you what realistically will happen when you're dealing with CPR to AED, from a toddler to an infant to someone that could be 90 years old. I'm going to be very honest, very blunt. Feel free to ask any questions. I would prefer, if you don't mind, if you have a question, I would like to answer it then so we don't have to go back to it. So if you do have a question, I can answer it so it's on that topic if we could. That would be better for me. So let me start off on, we have 3 AEDs in this school. We have one right outside the student services, we have one in trophy hallway, and we have one in the trainer's room. The trainer carries that around all through the school. The one by student services has adult pads in them only. The trainer and also the trophy row hallway has adult pads and pediatric pads, and I'll tell you the difference in a little bit. Anyone here ever done CPR on a human? Okay, 2 people, okay? Now, to get to that point where you start doing CPR, there's a couple things we need to go through. We're all going to be coming upon the holidays. We all have family. We all probably have kids. We're all going to be traveling maybe through airports. We're going to be in malls. We're going to be everywhere. AEDs are beginning to be everywhere. They're Myers. They're in the mall. I think Best Buy has one. So they're everywhere. So when you walk out of here and you grab one, you're going to be able to use it because it's going to prompt you. And again, it's firefighter proof. You're going to be able to do this. Okay? What to expect when you do use this is what I want to tell you. So at that point, without early AED intervention, someone with a cardiac arrest probably has a 93% chance they aren't going to make it. Okay? So there's a 7% chance. With early AED and CPR, it becomes about 76% where there's an AED available. Now, that being said, it starts with CPR, it starts with the 4 steps of what to do when someone is having a cardiac arrest. Now, some people raised their hand in this morning and said, does it have to be a heart issue? No. What I said to them, but most likely because young kids, some don't have heart issues, they could be playing kickball and they could kick the ball and it could hit them directly in the chest, which could cause that. So, I mean, in different ways it could happen. Someone could fall, hit their head, become unresponsive. We're still going to use the AED. It's going to be life over limb. So our goal is to keep the heart going, perfuse, and keep the O2 rolling through the brain, okay? So early access to call 911, early CPR. Now, everyone's been through CPR, right? Though you've been through it. When you start CPR, let me back up a second. If you feel someone that, hey, I'm not feeling the greatest, I have chest pains, and or, hey, I'm just feeling faint, one of the things you want to do is, listen, if you have access to baby aspirin, have them chew it. Give them baby aspirin, chew it. Don't swallow it, chew it, chew it, chew it. Get them down, get their legs up, get that blood flowing to the center of the body, okay? That's what you want to do. Let's say this person goes unresponsive. Unresponsive is basically no pulse and not breathing, or a faint pulse. So if you check the carotid, okay, which is here, and you feel something, you're gonna get at least a 20 to 24 pulse, I would say. Now, if they don't have any shoes on and you feel inclined, you check their feet where they have a pulse. The distal pulse, they're probably gonna have a 50 to 60 if you feel that pulse. It's okay to still stick the AED on, because why? It's going to analyze that. It's going to tell you what to do. So don't say, hey, they have a pulse, okay, so I'm just going to breathe for them. Don't do that. Let the machine take over. So the individual goes unresponsive. I want to give you exactly what's going to happen. So, Todd, can you come up here for a second, please? Over here. All right. So Todd goes unresponsive. I call Shannon and say, listen, you want me to do CPR? She's like, wait 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding. So first thing I'm going to do, there are scissors in there, okay? Now, understand this. This is for everyone in here. This is for any individual, whether you're 4 years old or whether you're, can you see or not? Am I good? All right. Sorry. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these scissors. He's going to be laying down on a hard surface. I'm going to cut everything off here. I'm going to cut everything down to here. And I'm going to cut everything off here. And I'm going to expose. Okay? Woman or man, that's what I'm going to do. So this may happen in the school, whether it's a high school student or whether it's you, this will happen. Okay? This is what has to happen. You can be mad at me later when you come back from the hospital and say, hey, thanks. But this is what's going to happen. Okay? So for a male, all right, if we have a hairy chest, you got that chia pet thing going on, Mr. Ugansky. What we're gonna do is we're gonna need 2 razors, but we'll get as much off as we can here, and we want to get this off here, okay? Then we want to take this alcohol, wipe that off, wipe that off. You're gonna say, hey, that's taking forever. Literally, it should take 10 to 12 seconds. Seriously, 10 to 12 seconds. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it. Now, once that's done, you're good to put the AED on. Now, I want you to understand, women, we've got to cut the bra, we've got to cut the wire, we've got to cut everything off because we can't have anything interfere. Okay? Our goal at that point is to give privacy. There's other going to be people around. We're going to push back as a fire department. It's the first thing we do. And I get it. And I understand. But that's what will be done. So I want you to understand, if you have to put this on a female student in this school, you need to do that, okay? Access 911, get the AED on them, cut everything off, and feel free to get the students out of there so they do have some privacy. You can do that in a matter of seconds, but that needs to be done. So when you get to our AED, you're going to open it up like this. It's going to start prompting you.
Stay calm. Follow these voice instructions.
Stay calm.
Make sure 911 is called now.
Okay. So, you open that up. It's going to follow through. Okay. This is equipped with an adult pad. Okay. It's pretty simple. You've got one that goes upper chest here, the other one goes down here. You get that diagonal that goes across the heart. This is already pre-connected in these machines, okay? They're already pre-connected, all right? So all you have to do is open it up. You will rip it open. Remember when I said firefighter proof? Peekaboo, there they are. This is where they go. Simple enough, stick them on there, push them on there, okay? The pads are on. So let's talk about adult, peds, and everything like that. Right now, everyone's over 80 pounds here. Well, Miss Sanders maybe. All right, most of us are over 80 pounds here. Me, since probably first grade. If I go down, please just go get Niklash, please, and so he can pound on my chest. I think Todd and Jason would be like, rock, paper, scissors to see who does it, so please just go get Niklash. So, difference between peds passes is you're 80 pounds. So if you're 80 pounds, you want to put pediatric pads on, okay? And what those look like are right here. They're in this, they're smaller. You can put the peds pads like this, okay, or you can go front to back, okay? So remember, pediatric pads can go or front to back. If you only have adult pads, you can still use those pads on a pediatric, but they have to go front to back, okay? They have what they call jewels, and the peds pads have reducers in them, which will reduce the amount of shock that's sent to the pediatric patient. Okay, so the reason we go front to back with adult pads, it should be a longer ways through, and maybe it'll reduce it a little bit. Does that make sense to everyone?
Where
Yes,
do you
sir.
put them front to back?
I'm sorry?
Where do you put them front to back? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Mr. Conrad. Right here, we got to be filmed. So, the one that goes on the front chest goes on the front, and the other one is going to go directly in the back.
So it's in the center, right?
It's in the center of the back.
Okay.
So you want to turn around for me, please? So it's going to be approximately right there, right where the other pad will be, okay? And that's on a pediatric. Okay, do not do this for an adult because you will not get the proper jewels that will be shocked if you need the shock, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Now let's back up. We get an emergency, person goes down, everything's cut off. Our first goal is we want to start CPR to perfuse and get that brain and keep it oxygenated, okay? That being said, when you get down and you start CPR, this will happen. You're going to hear crack, you're going to break ribs, it's going to happen, okay? Just prepare yourself. You need to be, there's where everything comes together, it's called the xiphoid process. 2 fingers above that, over top, you need to go 2 inches down, and trust me, it's a god-awful sound, but it will happen. It's going to, could make you throw up, okay? But just go ahead and go back to it. You could start crying. I'm dead serious, I've seen it all. It may happen, but you need to do that. You need to continue and give me 100, at least 100 a minute, okay? I don't care about breaths. I don't care whether they're breathing or not at that point, because why? That's our goal, is to get them breathing. If we have another person there, we have a mask in each of them, and it's a one-way mask. So again, the next thing that will probably happen when you start compressions, they are going to throw up, okay? They are going to urinate themselves, and you will defecate yourselves. That is fact, all right? It may not be both, but it's going to happen. If they start to throw up, you want to put them on their left side, recovery position. Make sure, don't sweep their mouth. Let the vomit get out. Put them back, go back at it, okay? The reason we want to compress and keep on going at least 100, we want to keep on perfusing, okay? And once we hook the AED up, it's going to give us our prompts. So this is an older AED, but I want to take you through the prompts of what's going to happen, okay? So, this part of it, in 99% of all AEDs you come across, is already going to be hooked up. So this is already going to be there. Todd, can you take your... So you're going to put one pad on, you're going to take the other one off, you're going to put the other pad on, okay, and then you're going to press on.
Connect electrodes.
They're already connected. Those are electrodes. So that's what it's meaning. It's reading to make sure it's connected.
Connect. Stand clear.
Okay, you're going to hear stand clear. Stand clear is we can't touch the body, okay? You wiggle the body, it throws when it analyzes off. So stand clear, tell everyone look up, stand clear, let it analyze, hands off, okay? When it says stand clear, hands off, let it analyze, okay?
Stand clear. Analyzing now. Stand clear.
Okay, what it's doing is analyzing the body. It's looking for a pulse. It's looking for anything that it can find the mildest of pulses. Can it detect it? Because if it detects a certain amount of pulse, you are not going to shock. You are going to continue CPR.
Analyzing now. Stand clear.
Okay, you will hear that on every AED. That is loading to give a shock. So that means this person, this victim is going to get shocked. Okay, so once this continues loading, you're going to hear it start to go beep, 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 beep. That means it's ready to shock.
Stand clear. Push shock button.
Okay, now that's very important. It's loaded up, it's ready to shock, and you need to say stand clear, get away, I'm going to push the button, get a shock. If your finger's on that person or if your hand's on that person, you will get shocked. You will understand what it's going to take to get 360 joules through your body, pass through them. Stand clear. So, there's a button on there.
Stand clear. Push
It'll flash.
Shock button.
Push the shock. It'll tell you that. You hear that kick? When you hear that, and it's going to be a weird thing for you, that victim is going to come up off the ground, it's going to shock. Well, maybe not me, but most people would come up off the ground and they would be shocked. Okay? So, at that point, it has delivered its first shock. Most AEDs go from 260 joules to 360, 360. The older ones, which we have, do that. Moving forward, the new American Heart and the new is 360, 360, 360. Why waste that first one? Let's get that initial shock. Let's get it going. So most likely with ours right now, you're probably going to shock multiple times because the first one is not going to be enough. Okay? So it's been delivered.
Start CPR.
Okay, it just detected you need to begin CPR again. CPR, continue compressions. If there's multiple people around, switch up. You're going to get tired. You're going to be spent. You're going to be sweating. And you know what? You're going to be emotional. Okay, whether you use this with a family member, whether you in the airport, whether you use it on a student or one of your colleagues, you are that person's heartbeat right now. So if we have a line of 5 people, keep switching. Keep switching. Keep switching. It's going to feel like forever for first responders to get here. Okay? Fire barn's right there, but understand it's manned with one person. They may be on another call, and ProMed may be busy, so you may get a White Lake ambulance, or you could get a Notch ambulance from Grand Haven. So you never know. Okay? So when ProMed arrives, what we want to do, ProMed, next Tuesday I have a meeting with Mr. Ingalls. I would like to purchase new AEDs on a program that Norton Shores and Muskegon Township is doing because it's universal. So when ProMed would arrive, all I have to do is unplug. They've got their heart monitor, plug that in. It's universal, life's good. There's no wasting time ripping pads off, then take the paddles and shock. It's universal. So that's my goal. So that would be a goal because these are older, and instead of spending $2,200, we can get these for about $1,200. So we're having that meeting next week, and I hope that happens because that way the trainer and everything, it's universal. When first responders come here, they're using the same AED. It's all set up. Everything's ready to go. Okay? So this will go through
Start
cycle.
CPR.
It'll continue to CPR. It's going to analyze. It's going to analyze for 2 minutes. It's going to continue to analyze. You're going to do CPR for 2 minutes. It'll do that. Then it's going to tell you
Stand
to
clear.
stand clear again. It's going to analyze.
Analyzing now. Stand clear.
Don't touch.
No shock advised.
Okay, so now you got a no shock advised. So what that means, you go straight back into, that's good. No shock advised, it means it detects a pulse or something, so that's a positive. So we need to continue CPR if we can, give breaths, continue that whole process until first responders get there. So when we do access 911, if we can, we want to make sure and let them know CPR is in progress and or it's a class 1. That's gonna let them know, okay, all right, this is the real deal. If they know CPR is in progress, it's gonna be a benefit, okay? The other thing is too, is some people wear smoking patches, some people have fentanyl patches, some people have all kinds of patches. If you know this, you've got to remove that patch. If you remove that patch, please either use a glove, which is available to you, or pull your sleeves, use the old sleeve gloves, horrible bosses, and pull that patch off, okay? The reason that could sometimes interfere with the detection and different things like that, so we need to get those off, okay? Sometimes we have family members that are on fentanyl patches because they're going through different things we got to make sure and get that off so we can get the full access because it may detect that. I know it's weird, but they do. They're very touchy. Nitroglycerin patch and different things like that.
Are those patches in a place typically where you
Usually on the arm. Usually on the arm, or they could be on here. The only other thing is can you use these if someone has an interior defibrillator? Yes. Okay? If they have an that's fine. Still use it the same way. It'll detect. Maybe the interior one will go off, and that's fine. Then this will detect that, and this one won't go off. Okay? So it's fine to do that. Also, I think I'm missing something.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It used to be when you had 2 people, it'd be 1 in 5, 1 breath every 5 compressions. By yourself, 15 and 2. When you're doing CPR, am I understanding it correctly that you are only working on compressions? You're not giving breaths if you are alone.
If you're alone, you don't worry about breaths. There are no rescue breaths. You do not go to breaths. You go straight to compressions. If you have 2 people, go straight to compressions, access 911, come back, and then you can do breaths after 100. Give them a couple breaths, go back to compressions. Yes, sir.
I heard you say if that detects a pulse, you still continue with compressions?
You do, because it's going to tell you to continue with CPR. So it may be faint, it may want a rapid to get it because it's not perfusing. It'll tell you no CPR. Okay, it'll tell you to stop, or it'll tell you analyzing. If you get continuous analyzing, it's a good thing. Okay. Any other questions?
If it has to deliver another shock, it will prompt you
It
to
will.
stand clear while you're doing the compression.
It will tell you to stand clear. It'll load like it just said it did. Then it'll tell you to stand clear, and it'll give you that, and then you stand clear and press the shock. Okay? Are there any other questions? Okay, that about covers what I have. Did that in record time.
Yeah, thank you very much.